Magical thinking OCD is a subtype of OCD that centers around the manifestation of superstition and performing actions to prevent bad things from happening. What's going on, my peoples, man? Appreciate y'all tuning back into the channel. If you haven't already, man, make sure y'all subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss a beat when I upload. And as y'all can see by the title, we're going to be talking about magical thinking OCD. Now, before we get into the video, man, I just want to throw a disclaimer out there. In this video, I will be talking about common, triggers, obsessions, and compulsions when it comes to this subtype. And if I don't mention a trigger, obsession, or compulsion when it comes to this subtype that you may go through, it does not mean that you don't have this subtype. It does not mean that you don't have OCD, because OCD isn't one size fit all. What may trigger me may not trigger you. What trigger you may not trigger me. What compulsions I fall into, you may not fall into, or compulsions you fall into, I may not fall into. And yeah, but if you haven't already, make sure you follow me on all my social medias. I'm gonna put them right here. And yeah, let's get into this video, man. Now, we all heard the sayings like knock on wood, which could prevent bad things from happening after you said something bad may happen, or things like splitting a pole or walking on a ladder, which could cause something bad to happen, or things like Friday the 13th, or the number 666 carrying negative energy. 9 times out of 10, people who hear these things don't really pay it no mind. They just go along their day if they were to ever come across these sayings or these superstitions, as they don't think that none of these things carry that much power or a negative energy. But as someone with magical thinking OCD, they actually think that these superstitions carry that much power and negative energy, to the point that they have to perform these rituals to prevent these bad things from happening, because if they don't, then something bad will happen. Some people even think that just thinking a thought can manifest, and I'm here to nip that in the bud, because a thought cannot just manifest by just thinking something. You have to actually put in work for something to manifest. You can set the intention of what you want to happen, but by just setting the intention doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Like you can think, oh, I want $1 million, but I don't have $1 million. So it's like you have to put in the work to get that. You know what I'm saying? That's how you make it manifest, not just thinking it. But here are some things that can trigger someone with magical thinking OCD. Taboo thoughts. So like I just said, people think that thoughts have a lot of power, to the point that if you were to think a thought, that it can manifest. So someone with magical thinking OCD, if they were to have an intrusive thought about something bad happening to them or to someone else, they would become triggered, because they feel like that thought could possibly happen just because they thought it. Superstition. So they feel like these things like not knocking on wood, stepping on a crack, a black cat, a black crow, they feel like these things actually carry a lot of power and energy to them. So if they were to come across it, they have to perform some type of ritual to, avoid something bad happening. Not performing actions in a certain way. So for example, I would love to, pull out a trigger that I went through when it comes to this, because I've dealt with this subtype for quite some time. Like, not too much, but like I deal with it on and off. But I used to think, like, when I prayed, that if I didn't mention everybody in my prayer, that something bad would happen to the person or people that I didn't mention in my prayer. So yeah, in certain words, numbers, sayings, and colors. So this is like I said, 666, Friday the 13th. Some people even think that, the color red or black carry dark energy. Now, here are some obsessions that someone with magical thinking OCD will go through. So like I just mentioned, out of my personal experience, not mentioning everyone in a prayer and thinking that something bad may happen to them. Having to knock on wood because we feel like something bad may happen if we don't. Having to think a good thought to balance out a bad thought that we had, due to feeling like that if we don't have a good thought, the bad thought will most likely happen. And obsessing over the thoughts that we have, due to us thinking that thoughts have so much power, to the point that if we think it, it will manifest. Now, here are some compulsions that someone with magical thinking OCD may go through. Avoidance. So basically avoiding anything that carries, you know, some type of negative energy, like the number 666, Friday the 13th, you know, colors red, black, or just avoiding anything that surrounds a superstition. So like I said, avoiding a crack, avoiding ladders, and avoiding black cats, stuff in that nature. Excessive praying. So like I mentioned from my personal experience, you know, I will fail to mention someone in my prayer, so I will end up praying again to mention that person. And then, like I said, this was a constant thing, so I will constantly, you know, be praying so I can mention everyone in my prayer. Performing rituals. So like I said, the knocking on the wood, avoiding cracks, you know, not splitting the pole, not walking under a ladder, you know, performing certain things so that, you know, these bad things wouldn't happen. And seeking reinsurance. So for example, you know, let's say you think a bad thought about someone that you are very close to, you'll call their phone to ask them if they are okay, if anything has happened to them lately, and, you know, to basically give you that reinsurance that everything is all right. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the video. I hope this video was very informative to anybody that's watching. If you're someone that's dealing with magical thinking OCD and you're watching this video, I just want to let you know that you're not alone. You know what I'm saying? You are very much heard, you're very much seen, and you're very much understood. And if you're someone that's just watching this to get a better understanding of what magical thinking OCD is, or what just OCD is overall, I hope this video was very informative to you and that it can help you help someone else around you that may be dealing with this, you know, this subtype and this disorder, or just to help you get a better understanding of what OCD is. And yeah, that is it. So make sure y'all leave that like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn on post notifications so y'all don't miss a beat when I upload. And yeah, more videos on the way, more gaming videos on the way, more OCD videos on the way, more, I was gonna say vlogs, but I haven't been vlogging lately because I just don't know. I haven't been vlogging lately. I've just been streaming and making OCD content and gaming content. So yeah, that's all we got for now. But once again, I hope this video was very informative. I hope y'all liked it. If y'all haven't already, make sure y'all follow me on all my social medias. I'm gonna put them right here. And yeah, if you haven't already, check out my last video right here, where we was playing Batman Arkham Asylum. You know what I'm saying? That was one of my favorite games as a child, or my teens, I think it was. But yeah, I think that's it. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. And make sure y'all have a great day or a great night whenever y'all watching this. And as always, I'm gone.